We are the Real Estate Marketing Maniacs, and today we have with us Kevin Kauffman and Fred Weaver with Group 4610 at eXp Realty. What's up, guys?
How's it going, man?
Hey
there. It's going good.
It has a different ring
Yes.
to it.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Something changed.
Yeah, a little bit of a change.
Just a little.
Yeah, we made a big brokerage move in the last few months here. Previously, we were at our previous brokerage for 11 years and made the move over to eXp Realty after I swore I would never go to that company.
Yeah.
So don't believe anything I say. Okay,
yeah,
no, I'm
right.
kidding. I'm kidding.
No, we'll get right into that. How long have you guys been in real estate now?
Well, you're the veteran, so I'll let you go first.
Yeah,
I'm
been in real estate since 2004, so almost 14 years now.
Yeah, wow. I got my license in 2007, and
right at the
right time, right?
Right at the right time.
He was the only one that got licensed in 2007. Just so we're
It was a
clear.
lonely class?
He always jokes and says I'm the one that kept the school open that year.
Yeah.
I bet there were a lot of people in there still, huh?
There was a decent amount.
Yeah. So how long have you guys been working together then?
Too long?
Since you got your license, Kevin?
Almost about 6 months
Okay.
later. So
All
February of 2008.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's talk. I want to hear the story. What's going on?
Yeah, what's going
I'm
on?
Mr. I will never, ever freaking go to that place.
I heard that there was
blame
like
you.
a big hell no or something. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, well, I mean, I gotta be honest. I was at Century 21 back in 2004 when I got licensed, and
still
Kevin
has his
Kauffman over
jacket.
here. I do. I got my gold jacket.
Matching tie.
Kevin Kauffman over here recruited me to Keller Williams. He was getting his license, and I was trying to talk him into joining my brokerage. And he said, "Hey, you got to come check out this Keller Williams brokerage." And so we stayed for a little while, also known as 11 years, and super grateful for all that we learned and the time that we had at Keller Williams, and you know, the mentorship from Gary Keller, and just all the great time. Many friends still at Keller Williams, but in the last year or so, we just kind of said, we should explore what else is out there. Sure. And we went and looked at all of our options, and there's a lot of options out there. And one of the options was eXp, and I most definitely very vocally in 2017 and even early 2018 said, hell no, I'm not going to that brokerage.
Let's be honest, that wasn't an option in 2017.
No,
I mean, it literally wasn't a consideration. And in fact, I'll never forget our good buddy Curtis Johnson, who we ultimately ended up going over to eXp and kind of work with together there now. He had approached us in late last year, November, December. I remember the last conversation was like the week of Christmas.
Yeah.
And he was strongly considering eXp, and I guess he'd been looking at it for better part of a year and a half. And we love Curtis. I mean, we go way back. We've known Curtis for 10 years now. And I think we both kind of thought he was a little crazy to do it, which is probably part of the reason why we like Curtis and have gotten along. So he is a little crazy. But we quite literally said, you know what, man, that's good luck, love you, and wish you the best of luck. Let us know what you think in 4 or 5 months. We're going to go another route. In fact, I mean, if you don't mind me saying, we were going independent at that point in our mind.
Wow.
We were going to become an independent brokerage. That was our goal and our plan at that time, although we hadn't publicly stated that in our mind. After sort of exploring the options that we did explore, none of which were satisfactory to us, we decided we would just go independent.
Yeah. So how would that independent have worked with, because you guys have agents in different states too, right?
Correct. So, we've got agents across 4 states, so we were actually in the process of opening brokerages in each state and going down that path. And we sat around in a meeting one day, probably late first quarter, early second quarter. And literally the energy in the room was like, what are we doing? Nobody wanted to be in the room when we were supposed to be talking about this great new brokerage move we were about to make to become independent. And so I think we all called each other out and were like, maybe we need to pull this back for a minute and reevaluate our options. And Kevin just had kind of kept saying, I just feel like we need to look at eXp. I feel like we need to check out eXp. And I just couldn't get past some of the stuff that honestly annoyed me a little bit, if I could be very open. So I'm obviously not ripping on the company I just joined, but just to be very honest with you, I had an experience of a few agents at eXp who I felt were very loud in the market, very loud on social media, who sort of, in my mind, were spreading the message that they wanted to not work at all and they wanted to make lots of money off of recruiting other people to the company. And that turned me off.
Kind of like an MLM.
Kind of like an MLM, to the point where I was just very turned off by that approach and that messaging. And so I wouldn't even look at it. I didn't look at the model. I didn't jump on an eXp webinar. I didn't talk to anybody there. I was just so turned off by a few people that was enough for me to say, hell no.
Yeah, yeah. You know, the thing that kept ringing in my head, and trust me, I'm not saying that I was saying, no, we should be going. I wasn't. I was probably, if anything, neutral at that point. But I had checked it out before in the past, and quite frankly, I just didn't like the messaging that I got from the people I had spoken to, and not good or bad. It didn't attract me at all because I didn't understand the company.
Right.
The thing that made me go, you know, I think we really have to really take a look at this, especially after Curtis left, was I kept thinking, people are talking about eXp the way I had heard they talked about Keller Williams in the early days. And Keller Williams was a very entrepreneurial based company back in the day, not so much now, but it was built on the backs of entrepreneurs. And there was something about that I just went, gosh, I feel like I've heard this story before. You know, I know a lot of people who have been in real estate a lot longer than I have who, quite frankly, they were still sorry that they never left their brokerage when they had the opportunity 20 years ago or 15 years ago. And so there was something about that I went, you know, it wasn't a fear of missing out, but it was something, there's something more here. We're not hearing the whole story. And so for us, it was really easy to listen to Curtis, just having a long-standing relationship with him and respecting his business at a high level because he's got a business that's such a high level.
Right.
It was really easy to go, okay, tell us about your experience now. And when he told us, I went, well, that's not at all what I had heard. You know, that's not what I heard about the company. And because, you know, there's all these rumors, and it's funny now that we've made the move, I get those questions. I get the calls literally every day and have for the last 6 weeks about, okay, tell me why you moved. Tell me more about the company. And what I hear most often is, I didn't know that. I heard something different, or I heard this. Is this true? And it, you know, of course it's not true. Most of the stuff that people hear because nobody really inspects it. We hear the stuff that people are saying. You know, one of the cool things about eXp is it is very entrepreneurial. One of the great things about eXp is you come in through another agent. All the recruiting is done on the ground level, boots on the ground by the other agents. That's also the challenge, because that means that now at 13,000 plus agents, there's potentially 13,000 different messages as opposed to one unified message. So they don't own their own message. eXp as a company yet doesn't own their own brand and their message. And so that's a challenge because, I mean, let's face it, there are some people who are really great at recruiting, and that's why they do that for the different companies. You know, all real estate brands recruit, believe it or not. That's what they're paid to do. That's how they build their business. But that's a special skill set. And so because of eXp has got this incentivized model to not only recruit but to work together, there's a lot of people out having conversations that they're just not equipped to have. It doesn't mean they shouldn't have them, they shouldn't be allowed to. They're just not equipped to do it. And so quite frankly, they turn off a lot of people.
All right. So what would you say is one of the top things that attracted you?
Well, you know, as Kevin kind of briefly mentioned, we've had a relationship with Curtis Johnson for a while. So he came to us December 17 and said, I'm going to make the move. And I was like, you're crazy, man. No way. But I said to him at the time, I recall saying, you know what? I respect you enough. Like, let's visit again in 3 and 6 months. I want to see what your experience is like. He was really the first big real estate team that we were close to that had made that transition from he was at a local brokerage, independent, and made the move over to eXp. And so we sat down with him for lunch. I believe it was in May. And, you know, I think the thing that most jumped out to me was that this was a company that was very forward thinking in their approach. The model was actually very attractive. And I had been put off by some of the messaging from other people, but I never really, because the messaging in my mind never really encapsulated the whole model. Curtis was kind of the first guy that helped me see the model, right? And when I say model, like there's 3 different ways to make money at eXp, right? There's a built-in plan. There's ownership at eXp. I think the agents feel like they own part of the company, right? There's the entire companies run under sort of one umbrella. In these franchise systems, you have sort of the way that you'd like the franchise to be run, and then you have how all the franchises are actually run.
The fries don't taste the same at every location,
right? And so there was a lot of attractiveness to that idea of the company running under one umbrella, one company across currently 49 states, 4 British Columbia provinces. You know, one cap, one set of commission or company dollar. You've got the ability to sell real estate. You've got the ability to buy or earn stock instead of like a certificate for, hey, congratulations, Kevin, you're a top producer. Here's a piece of paper hanging on your wall. Like, here's some stock and ownership in the company, right? Yeah. And then you have this other piece, which is I can be rewarded for essentially growing the company. And so it was sort of this 3-tier approach to eXp that made us step back and go, wow, wait a second. And then of course you ask the question, well, what's the substance behind the model? What's the model look like? And until you get in there and you see it, you don't realize that this company has a ton of training. So under one umbrella, they've got 15, 20, sometimes up to 30 hours worth of training going on inside a virtual training campus every single week called eXp World. Mm-hmm. They've got a marketing system, right, with amazing, top-notch, high-level, out-of-control marketing pieces that their agents can customize in a matter of minutes, send to a printer, download to their computer, etc. They've got a mentorship program for brand new agents, right? When they come in, that they get paired up with a mentor if they don't know what they're doing. They've got recorded trainings. So you start seeing all these pieces and you go, wow, there's a lot of substance here, but I didn't hear anybody talking about the substance. I just heard people talking about how great the revenue share was.
Oh, God.
And and the thing there, I think the thing that turned off both of us and quite a few other people that I know is, as real estate agents, like the vast majority, 99+% of real estate agents go to bed every night worrying about the next deal.
Yeah.
Not about stock that they can earn or buy at a discount, not about revenue share, not about profit share, not about the bar, they're worried about the deal. Like, when am I going to get my next deal? How am I going to get my next deal? And so instead of people going around and talking about how eXp's model helps you get the next deal and helps you build your business through their technology, through all that you get through their, through, whether it's through their CRMs or their marketing platform, which is phenomenal, or their training platform, which is great. Instead of talking about that, people are leading with revenue share, they're leading with stocks. And the truth is that that's going to attract some, but that's such a small percentage of people that are really attracted to that. Most people are worried about, how am I going to sell another home? Mm-hmm. I got to feed my family. I got to feed my family next month. Yeah. I got bills to pay right now. And until you can show somebody how that model can help them advance their sales career, nothing else matters.
Yeah. No. Well, and their system's pretty cool. I've been on there before. Just to, create your own avatar.
I'll tell you what, man. I actually feel weird even saying it's not that weird, because at first I was like, I don't know. I'll try it out. So I went and made my avatar, and I went to a class, and I was, you're walking around campus, if you will, and I feel like I sound weird now even describing that, but I'm also a guy that goes to lots of webinars. I've put on webinars, and I love webinars. I love to learn. I love to learn from experts, right? Mm-hmm. From somebody who has specialized knowledge, and so I do a lot of webinars because of that. When you go into a class or a conversation at eXp World, sure, it's more personal. It's not like this where we're literally sitting next to each other, but it is significantly more personal than if you were putting on a webinar right now, or if we were doing this podcast recorded online. Like if I was still in my office and you were here, it's significantly more personal than that. And that was the thing that was my big takeaway once I had gone in there. And full disclosure, I didn't go into eXp World till after we had already joined. I was probably already there for a week. Yeah. But that was one of the things that surprised me the most.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, definitely cutting edge with that stuff.
And I mean, I think the avatars, you can wear flip flops now, which fits really well for our personality.
I wasn't going without it.
And they all they all look the same weight. So I lose at least 50 pounds immediately when I go into eXp World. So people that see me you look really good today, Fred. And I'm very happy about that.
He's like, my avatar's been working out.
My avatar has absolutely been working out. He's in shape.
Funny. So I could see with the umbrella, right, the whole company umbrella, with the fact that you guys have been expansion team for quite some time now, that it's probably fits with that really well.
It fits really, really well for us in that, because we're looked at inside of eXp as one team, as one organization, whereas inside of a franchise system, every franchisee, and rightfully so, but they want a piece of the pie, right? So if you're going to go do business in Phoenix and Denver, the Denver office owner wants, some money from you and your agents, as does the Phoenix one. Yeah. Well, as you grow in size, your brokerage typically starts, maybe lowering your cap or giving you some incentives, and so you get that in one location, but across across eXp, you can use your entire, if you will, weight of what you're building, and you get benefit for that across the entire company. So you can grow an expansion team, as an example, inside eXp. The agents can have one cap. You can get a half cap, so to speak, by having agents in other locations. Like, there's just a lot of opportunity there to grow a team inside eXp. And you're, again, one umbrella, right? So one set of logos, one team name, one broker per state, which is very, very important to a team like ours versus being in a franchise model where you might have 10, 15, or 20 brokers inside of one state because there's 10 or 15 or 20 franchises.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I figured that probably play well for what you guys have going on.
Yeah, it absolutely plays well for expansion. And that, you just reminded me of something. Is I got on the phone with the founder of the company. We've got some mutual friends, and one of my friends just said, you should call Glenn. His name's Glenn Sanford. You should call him. I think he's a really smart guy, and I think you might like him. And I know you still have some concerns. Why don't you give him a call? Tell him I said to call. So I called him, and we spoke. And within a few minutes, the thing I thought is we've had a team together for just over 11 years now. And as you mentioned, we've expanded out. And expansion is really just nothing more than building really great systems. That's all it is. So whether you're in one location or not, it's just great systems. And but we've expanded out, and so we've had challenges as we've gone into different markets and different cities. And the thing that I walked away, didn't even walk away from that call. I mean, it was literally within 10 minutes. I went, man, this guy's like, he's trying. He is not trying. He has solved and is solving all the same type of problems we've been trying to solve for the last 11 years. And that was the when that hit me, I went, this guy's really, and this company is really for the agent. Like, they're genuinely for the agent. They want our businesses to thrive. And it's not, some people could go, well, yeah, that's great for a big team, but what about me as a solo agent?
Yeah.
Like, no, they've actually thought of that too. That's why, to me, the marketing suite is even more powerful as a solo agent. The training is even more powerful for you as a solo agent. There's a lot of different things that you can use inside this company to grow your business, whether you're a solo agent, a smaller team, maybe with an administrative assistant, and a buyer's agent, or whatever that might look like, all the way up to these super mega teams that that dwarf us.
Sure.
And that's the thing that really, one of the things that really stuck out to me.
All right. Where do you see? So what's on the horizon? Where do you see this going?
Wow.
Let's say 6 months, year out. What
yeah, well, we'd be speculating to say, where we think eXp is going, but it's obvious that they're growing. Like, to put it into perspective, January 1st of 2017, they were about 3,500 agents strong. Is that right, Kevin? And so here we are today. It's the beginning of August 2018, and they're over 13,000.
Wow.
Right? So you can see that growth. The growth just in 2018 is 1,000 plus agents a month on average through the first 7 months here in 2018. Wow. So you can see the trajectory of eXp is it's going to keep growing. It's going to keep gaining market share. I think it's easier for us to speak to the growth of our own company, which is we feel like inside of eXp we have these wings where we can fly again. We can fly a little bit more freely. We've got less constraints. We've got less restrictions. We're able to collaborate and partner with people at different levels, whether that be somebody joining eXp and naming us as their sponsor, then us bringing them into what we would call our revenue share group and sort of being incentivized to help them grow and wanting to work with them, or whether it be them wanting to join us inside of one of our locations. We can keep growing in our current locations, and then we have this opportunity, which is to grow outside of our current locations. I mean, eXp's got that one broker per state. We can pretty much go into any city, any part of the country that we want to, and partner with an agent and make them a Group 4610 team member inside of eXp. Okay. And eXp provides all these tools. So previously at our other brokerage, we would roll out a brand new CRM. We love Boomtown. It's the CRM company we've been using for years. It's a great product, but mind you, it's $1,000, $1,500 a month to roll out a Boomtown site. So if you're going to go into a city, you better be prepared to invest some money into that city. And we're continuing to use Boomtown in our cities where we have multiple agents. But now we're looking at it and we're going, if an agent approaches us in Ohio or Florida or wherever it may be and says, hey, could I join you guys? We could actually now get into a relationship with them, and without having to launch a full Boomtown account, we can use KV Core, which is a conversion product which comes included with your eXp monthly membership. So we can use that as their CRM tool without us having to invest that money, right? We now have more tools and more technology through eXp where we can connect with those agents. We only have to worry about partnering with one broker per state. So there's just a lot of simplicity and a lot of opportunity for us expanding inside of eXp.
I really love the ability to collaborate, and I've had a lot of people ask me, like, why do you keep saying you're in business with Curtis? Why do you keep saying you're in business with Templeton Walker and James Lee and a few of the other people that have joined eXp in our what we call our revenue share group. And the reason why is this, quite simply, is because we're all financially incentivized to help each other's businesses grow. So one of the things I've loved that we've been able to do is collaborate at a level that we haven't been able to before. And we've always shared, we've always talked, we've always tried to help each other where we can, but now quite literally, so Templeton Walker as an example, his whole team has come over to eXp, and quite honestly, I'm incentivized to help them do it. Like, that's just the structure of it.
Right.
And I've always helped Templeton. We've always been buddies, and we've always shared things with each other in secret, same as we have with Curtis for years. But the reality is now we get to do that, and it's like Templeton was never going to join my team. Let me put it that way. Literally, Templeton was never going to join Group 4610. But I wanted to help him.
Temp's his own thing.
Right. He is his own thing. And there's some agents that want to grow something big like Templeton. Some just want to do their own thing, literally.
Yeah.
But there are some things that we've built over the years. I mean, we've invested quite literally millions of dollars into our technology, into our systems to help our company grow and to help our real estate agents grow their business. And some of those things we could use to help other people grow their business. But again, Templeton's not going to join my team. But now that we're financially incentivized to help each other, if there's some of that stuff I can offer him to help his business grow, then that's awesome. It helps it grow. And it's not like I don't have to feel like I'm giving it to him for free. He doesn't have to feel like he's got to pay me a split or work under my banner, so to speak, or, become a member of Group 4610. He feels, hey, I'm empowered. I still get to be the T group, and I get to tap into some of the stuff that you guys have going on, like your weekly coaching calls or your live events or whatever the case is, right? Whatever thing he's utilizing to help himself or his agents grow in their real estate business. And the power of that is pretty phenomenal. I've just never seen anything where you get so much collaboration and so many people tripping over themselves to help each other.
Well, trying to figure out how to merge two businesses and two P&L statements and, like that stuff's challenging. We even had past conversation with Curtis about, is there a way we could partner together and work together? But it's hard, right? He's got his brand, we've got ours. He's been doing it for 20 years. We've been doing ours for 10 plus. And you just go, how does this work? But then you go and you look at, well, we could go join this company, eXp Realty. And now all of a sudden, like, we're incentivized to want to grow, right? We're incentivized to want to recruit people to eXp together. We're incentivized to help each other grow our own teams. Curtis can come in and speak at our events. We can come in and speak at his. We can offer his agents things like Templeton, like you're talking about.
Yeah.
So there's just this collaboration at a whole nother level. So yeah, revenue share is awesome. There's some money to be made there for people who want to recruit to eXp Realty, but it's also the collaboration that comes with joining other forces, if you will, inside of a company and then helping each other grow your real estate business. Because as Kevin said, like, it really comes down to, how do I grow my business? How do I do more deals?
Well, let's be real. So I'm sure in the past, everybody wants to give a little, right? I mean, we want to help Templeton and you want to help Curtis, but I'm sure there's this little voice in your head at some point. Well, that's my competition still too, somewhat, right? Now it's totally different.
It is totally different now, and it's funny because I've never really held back a secret from Templeton. But as an example, I was also never willing to let him log into our systems either. Now I'm like, free reign. If it doesn't cost me another penny to have another user or something like that, if I'm already going to write the check for this thing, for this speaker or for this coach or whatever the case is, it's yours too. You can have it, and so can your agents, and you know what? So can anybody else that you recruit to the company as well. Because if you all get better, we get better, and we all make more money that way. And let's face it, people are happier when they're making more money and their business is growing. That's, at the end of the day, that's what it's about.
Sure.
Is you want to be able to grow your business. And I think that is something that's different. And I think that's one of the things that scares people. It scares, I've gotten calls from people all over the country, not just from Keller Williams, but obviously Keller Williams, with us having so many relationships there. But every brokerage in the world that you can think, everyone's checked it out. Everyone's interested. Some are scared, some are frightened, they don't know what to do about it. Others are just most are just intrigued, and they want to know more about it because it's cool and it's different and it's radical in our industry. And that's why, that's why it's doubled this year alone.
Yeah, that's
why it's growing faster than any other real estate company ever.
So if an agent's listening or watching now, how do they reach out to you guys to find out more?
Absolutely. Obviously, Facebook would be one way. They could email the two of us directly at realestate@group4610.com. That'll come directly just to the two of us, two of our inboxes. Mm-hmm. But Kevin Kauffman and Fred Weaver on Facebook, and that'd be an easy way to get to us.
Easy way,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so I'm curious, if you were to take your previous broker and eXp and just compare them, I mean, what would be the main differences of just, well, I mean, like if we're sitting down and I wanted bullet points, what would you tell me?
So, it's funny, because of our previous brokerage being Keller Williams, there's a lot of similarities. The differences are there's no physical space, right?
Yeah.
There's not an office to go to. That is a difference. Another difference is there is only one broker. There's the broker for the entire state.
So how does the support work on that?
It absolutely works really well.
Does it?
I mean, they are highly, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, they're easy to get a hold of.
Engaged.
Yeah, they are engaged at a high level.
That's an important piece in the eXp model is the broker's role. I think in a lot of other real estate companies, the broker's sort of there to meet a requirement that the
that's
state
the way
may
it
or
is
may
at
not have.
Keller Williams. Quite frankly, they're an employee that's a must-have because of laws. Whereas in eXp, they're a little more featured because especially if you're not physically going to a space, that's important. Right? You've got to be engaged and you've got to be accessible.
Sure.
And so I think that's one of the bigger ones. There's quite obviously there's the financial incentive that's different. So Keller Williams has got profit share, but there's so many different things that come into play for profit share to ever become a reality, as opposed to revenue share, where it's quite literally revenue share. So those are some of the big differences. But
the economic model, if you don't mind me tossing that in, that's a big piece. And when I say economic model, I mean, like, how much do you pay your broker? So granted, I can't speak to every KW office, but a lot of KW offices have caps, which would be the maximum amount of money one agent would pay in a given year to their broker, that range anywhere from $15,000 up to $25,000, sometimes even $30,000. And then there's a royalty fee on top of that, which maxes out at $6,000 inside Keller Williams. So at eXp, the big differentiator is, number one, there's no royalty, so that immediately goes away, and everybody has the same cap. So the cap's $16,000 at eXp. The split is 80-20, which is very unique, whereas in a lot of other franchise systems, again, sometimes you're on a 70-30 or a 66-30, 34 or 80, whatever. There's everybody's on these different plans, so it's 80-20 across the board and $16,000. So that's very clean, easy, neat, and a big differentiator from like a KW as an example.
Yeah. Well, and with the cap, I mean, I'm sure some people if they're on a 90-10, they probably say, well, why would I? But then once they do the math, right?
I was gonna say there's that problem of doing the math, right? And as your business grows,
because if they never have the cap, then they're always paying that 10%, which is more than what the cap is.
Yeah, and just to be,
I mean, as long as they're a producer,
yes,
right. And just to be clear, like eXp is not for everybody, just like KW is not for everybody. If you're looking for the lowest, cheapest broker, like eXp isn't it, and neither is KW. Just so we're clear. So
they're both
I think
in the middle.
Most people that might listen to this podcast or would be educated themselves at any level in the real estate industry are probably not looking for the cheapest place to do business. They're trying to figure out, where can I make the most amount of money? Where can I be surrounded by some of the best and brightest thinkers? Where am I going to be supported well? Where am I going to get training? Where am I going to be pushed and incentivized to grow and held accountable or coached, or just generally speaking, have support and available to me at all times? So that's really where I think eXp shines, is that collaboration, that support, that training's amazing, but obviously the economics to it as well. When we're just comparing it to KW, a lot more attractive.
Yeah. All right.
Good stuff.
So you guys are on board and ready.
We're excited,
You're
man.
excited. I mean, I can tell you're excited.
Yeah, I think the one thing we probably haven't said the most about eXp is we're actually having a lot of fun. Like,
Really?
And that doesn't take anything away from KW. We had great times there, 11 years of growth, and again, super grateful for that time. But I can tell you, like, it's fun being a part of sort of the new frontier of real estate, like business being done in a different way, a virtual model, right? Kind of bucking the trends that other real estate companies have done before. And some people connect to it and some people don't.
Sure.
But for those of us that have connected to it at a deeper level, like the majority of us are having more fun than we've ever had before in real estate.
It's very entrepreneurial. It feels very entrepreneurial, as opposed to more of like a corporate vibe that you get with some of the bigger brands. It's very much like, hey, we're going to go out and we're going to figure out the best way to do something. And if there's a problem, we're going to figure out the best way to solve it. If there's a way for us to grow our business together, we're going to do that together. And we don't have to worry about it looking a certain way or being under this certain training umbrella. None of that. It's like if Kevin and Jeff just decide we're going to go out and we're going to do something, we're just going to go do it. And we're going to use that to improve our businesses, improve the lives of other people around us. And there's no one to get okay from. I mean, it's very entrepreneurial, and that makes it fun. I mean, that to me, I think a lot of people in real estate they're entrepreneurs at heart. Right. That's why Gary Vee is so big inside of real estate, because it's full of entrepreneurs at heart. And I've not ever seen a company or a model be more accepting and like literally just bringing in the people and rewarding the people who are entrepreneurial at heart. So
so it's not just a fad or anything like that.
Yeah, no, it's a ton of fun. It's a lot. I'll tell you, the one thing I noticed about Curtis, and hopefully he doesn't get mad, hopefully he doesn't watch this, but so when we had that lunch in May, and this was when we first started we said, okay, well, listen, and tell us about it. When we left that lunch, we got in the car, and I looked at Fred, I said, man, did you notice the pep in his step? Like, Curtis was smiling the whole time. He had 10 times more energy than he had the last time we saw him, or the time before that, or the time before that. Like, that dude is having fun. Whatever he's doing, I don't know if we're going to like this or not when we dig deeper, but whatever that guy's got, it has re-energized him at a level I've not seen in a while, and we've known him for some time. And, now that we got in, I totally get it. I get why he's always happy and excited, and he loves the company. Same way, it's just a lot of fun to be able to go out and build something new and kind of create a culture and help like push this new trend forward.
Well, I can tell you, I wish I would have bought their stock when it first came out.
Me too.
Well, me too. I've done okay.
I was too busy making fun of them. I should have been buying their stock, right?
I bought some, but not till last year. I really wish I'd have bought 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But there's no doubt that's definitely seen a nice increase.
So what are agents? So most of the agents that are listening and watching are probably here in the Phoenix Metro. What are they going to see you guys out doing? I mean, events and things like that, you want just to really get the message out?
Absolutely. One of the things that I always loved about our old brokerage was the ability to teach and the ability to give to each other, and just with that spirit, it's the ability to go out and give back to the real estate community in a way that doesn't have rules and obligations. Just like let me share with you, like Templeton Walker and I are going to be doing a couple classes together over the next few weeks on like social media and how to build what Templeton calls the lean mean machine. Basically how to run a team without having a team and keep your profit margin high, running masterminds, just different classes and collaborations to help each other's businesses grow. And I mean, I think you're going to see a lot of that. As you've noticed, we've also started, we just appointed ourselves the head of the social committee for Phoenix and decided to invent something called EX Phoenix, and which is like, let's get together once a month for a social couple hours, and let's hang out and just build some more culture and more community. Because we all like to be around each other, and it's fun to be able to hang out and say, hey, how's things going? Because the reality is you don't get to see everybody in your office all the time, whether they're physically there or virtually there. You don't get to run into them and chat with them all the time. So if we can spend some time outside of work too and just sort of build more of that culture and that family feel, that's a lot of fun. So you'll see a lot more of that as well.
That's cool. Yeah. So Tim's going to be there. Are you going to? Is he going to teach us all some moves? Because that dude can dance.
Man, I hope so. His kids can dance too, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, I love just watching his Facebook Live videos just to watch his kids' moves. They're pretty awesome.
Crack me up.
So you got some big hitters out there then. I mean, you guys along with Temp and Curtis, and you guys are going to be
there's
having get-togethers and
there's a lot more. I mean, here in the Phoenix area, you're going to see even more movement over the next couple of months with some people coming over, and just around the country. I mean, there's a lot of people on some of those top 250 lists or top 1,000 realtor lists that are making the move this year. So it's really exciting.
That's great, man. Thank you guys for coming in.
Yeah.
Any last thing you want to make sure agents know before we wrap it up? Or
last thing I might say is, you asked us like kind of what's next. I would say Kevin and I we want to get the right messaging out there about eXp. We're not here to recruit everybody. We're not here to think that this is the right like brokerage move for everybody. We just really want to tell the story better, because I wish, again, looking back in my shoes, I wish somebody would have told me about the company the way I heard it from Curtis Johnson a year or two ago. So I want to make sure if people do have interest in eXp that they're hearing the right story, the right messaging, they're getting to see some of the stuff, and let them judge it for themselves. I'm not here to tell them what to think about it. I just want to make sure they're getting the right messaging. That's a big deal to me, big deal to Kevin, I know. Absolutely. Is just telling the eXp story and talking about the substance and the real value and the real collaboration that's going on inside the company.
Yeah, well, and I think that's the best thing to focus on. If you're just leading with the people leading with the model of recruiting, you're right. I mean, that'll turn a lot of people off. But if you share with them what eXp is all about, what's really truly included in the collaboration model, I think is amazing. So,
thank you.
That's awesome.
For more information regarding eXp Realty, would like to invite you to one of our Discover the Truth of eXp Realty webinars. You can find that information at kevinandfred.com/truth. Again, that's kevinandfred.com/truth. Thanks so much. Create yourself a great day.